For more than 50 years, Antonis Kampourakis woke at dawn, strapped on fins and a mask, and dived deep into the Aegean Sea. His aim? To harvest the valuable sea sponges that sustained the Greek island of Kalymnos for centuries. He's just one of the many locals who have ties to this traditional work, which was often passed down in families through generations. When a catastrophic disease began decimating the sea sponges in 1986, the islanders' main source of income also plummeted. But then a new focus emerged, one that looks to the island's landscape at steep cliffs, stalactite caves, fine limestone crags, and breathtaking sea views from the top. Now the barren yet picturesque island is one of the world's top spots for sport climbing, a type of rock climbing in which the roots are fixed with permanent anchors. The activity is helping to revitalize the local economy, drawing both amateur and expert adventurers, and is gaining global attention this year as a new Olympic event. A culture immersed in the sea, sea sponge harvesting, a pursuit mentioned in Homer's 8th century BC epics, has been practiced in Kalymnos since the 1800s. The sponge fishermen became legendary, descending to depths of more than 250 feet and using resourceful yet risky techniques. From free diving naked and weighted with a marble stone to breathing through a long hose that snaked to the surface. Although hard and dangerous, for me this job was a fun fare. I longed for daybreak to come to plunge into the sea, says the 80-year-old Kampourakis. For 52 years I kept diving for sponges, even 1,000 times per day. But it was well paid. I raised 6 daughters, bought houses for their families, says Kampourakis, whose likeness is depicted on a local statue honoring the sponge divers. While islanders were sponge hunting, merchants were selling the Kalymnian gold at far-flung markets. There used to be 200 to 250 sponge boats, sailing all over Greece and the eastern Mediterranean, says Nicholas Papachatzis, a sponge trader. Now only a few remain. The decades-long intensive harvesting, the disease that hit the sponges in the 1980s, and the increased frequency of extreme climatic events since the 1990s all combined to nearly wipe out the sponge harvesting industry. Now the local sponges are scarce, but surprisingly the sponge trade still flourishes. Because of the islanders' know-how, sponges from elsewhere are processed here. Everything is done by hand, sponge by sponge, cleaning, washing, trimming, says Papachatzis. Kalymnos accounts for 80% of sponge exports worldwide, and it imports sponges from tropical waters to satisfy the demand. A Mediterranean sponge, though, has an unsurpassed quality and a 10-year lifespan, he says. As global efforts focus on reducing the use of plastic, natural sponges may seem more sustainable than artificial ones. Yet care should be taken with the remaining fragmented sponge populations, says Thanos Delianis, a marine biologist at the Hellenic Center for Marine Research.